Thank you, Rabbi. It's truly an honor to be here. May this truly be in memory of Nezer ben Avram Sarah, of Yaeer Nezer ben Avram B'Tzipora. May both of their neshamas be one in which light up the world in Shemayim today, and may they continue to provide inspiration for all of us here, and may this community and all communities around the country be one in which we only know simchas, smachot, only know that things that are good, and never have situations in which young people are taken from us before their time. Never have situations where we have to ask questions by God. May Hashem both give us a world and a year that is Tova, which we know He will be, but also that is Mitukah, that we know it as we get it. And maybe this year be the year we walk together to the Geula. B'mher b'yameinu amen. I'm going to go back and forth from Ashkenazi to Sephardi because that's my life. So stick with me. There's a great man named Ken Robinson. Sir Ken Robinson. He is a psychologist. Originally from London, so that must mean he's smart, because everyone in London is smart. They sound that way. And he has written books and spoken extensively about a topic of education. And he is speaking around the world, and the world is crazy about this guy, Ken Robinson. You can Google him. And what he's talking about that's making everybody crazy is that we're going through what's called a human resource crisis. The world today is suffering, that productivity is not where it should be, that people are unhappy at their jobs, and the education system is broken. And his theory is the reason why people are unhappy is because as a society we have bought into, these are the things that are important to go into. What do you do for a living? Oh. What do you do for a living? Oh. These are the people that are the smartest kids in the class. These are the things that are the subjects that make us the most proud. And so everybody goes into the things that make everybody proud, and as a result, we have so much talent inside us that we never show. We sit at jobs that we hate, and we wait for a check one to come one day, and maybe when I get older, I'll live my passion. And so what's happening is around the country is you have all these people that are so talented that they'll never bring it out. And what he says and what he shows through science is that inside each and every one of us is certain talent. It's inside us. It's an interest that we have. It's a thing that we love. And if we don't bring it out in some way in life, we're missing a piece of us. Now that applies physically, but that applies most of all spiritually. Each and every one of us have certain spiritual traits. Each and every one of us has certain spiritual powers. And if we go our whole lives and never bring it out, there's something in our life that feels like it's lacking. You ever get this way? Where we're going and buzzing and beeping and doing. We go from this holiday to this holiday. We sit before Hashem on Yom Kippur and we're praying. And with all that stuff, there's a piece of us that says, I could be more. I'm all day, I'm busy. I get to Shabbat, I'm like crawling to the finish line every week, and I'm running and I'm going, and there's no more time left in my day. And with all the work that I do, I'm raising a family, I'm a young wife, I'm a husband running around, I'm older, whatever it is, I am so stretched. And with all of that, I don't feel like I'm dominating. There's like a gnaw inside me. I'm doing okay. No. How is life? I do this all the time, and anyone's heard me speak before. Good. If you're married, okay, as long as my wife is happy, or one of those like 500 of those jokes that are never funny. If you're religious, Baruch Hashem. If you're from seminary, there's a jingle, Baruch Hashem. You never hear life, amazing. Go on the street. How is life? You're never going to hear life unless someone's sick or, God forbid, passed away. And then all of a sudden it becomes amazing for one day. And then it goes back to being okay. Amazing? Never. Life? Awesome? Never. Why? Because inside us is certain spirituality that doesn't get realized. Inside us is a talent that we never bring out. It's like Ken Robinson in the physical world. We have it in the spiritual world too. Inside us, there's a trait a spiritual trait that has not been able to come out. And so we go year after year, prayer after prayer. We do the right things. We take lulav, we sit in the sukkah, we do whatever we're supposed to do. Go to work, come home from work, do the right thing, more Shabbat. At the end of the year, And until we identify and tap into those traits, we never feel awesome. What am I talking about? There's a concept in Torah called a sphira. A sphira is how Hashem created the world. The way the world was created, it wasn't like Hashem just poofed it. He put light in they're difficult to explain, but he put light into the world. But that light didn't just come down. It actually went through certain things called sephirot. And it went through specific things till it got down to us. And the way each and every one of us is built. Arms, legs, bodies, but what's happening inside that. Spiritually, we're not just a soul. Spiritually, we are made up of sephirot. That's why each person is considered a world in themselves, because the world has sephirot and every individual has a sephirah. And inside us are these sephirot. 3 on the top and 7 on the bottom. They're us. That's our talent. That's our traits. And if we have this sephirot inside us, and we don't bring it out, I don't care how much money we make, I don't care how much honors we get, I don't care how many people say you're doing great, we feel like there's something missing. This holiday we went through is called Sukkot. Every night we had a Ushpizin. Now Jewish history is an environment and a history that is filled to the gills with great people. The one thing we say about our history is that no matter what, we have great people. We have heroes. We have kings and queens. We have prophets and prophetesses. We have people that stared down Paro. We have people that split seas. We have queens that walked into chambers and saved. We have our history. But there are 7 people that in some way are unique. Not because God loves them more. Because their life wasn't just great. It gives us an insight about our life. This holiday, we just walked out of a holiday where every night one person came to visit us. And each one was a shepherd, an ushpizin, because they represented a different sphira. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. Each of us contain within us these traits. And we can go our whole lives. If we don't know what these traits are and bring them out, we're not tapping into our potential. We're not being the best we can be. And so the question for tonight is, how do we do that? What I'd like to do, with the time that we have here, I don't want to go too long, the time that we have here, is I'd like to take the first, maybe 3, but 2. Because the way Hashem runs the world, what's happening behind the curtain, is there's this trait that we have. It's embodied in a person. It's embodied in one of our parents. And when we say we have 4 parents, when we say we have avos or avot, it's not just like a nice cute term. What that means is that we have their DNA. Like we have this thing. You ever do this in life? Whenever someone gives birth, you play this game of like, who does he look like? You ever do this, by the way? It's like a game you play. You go, they give birth, and every baby looks exact same. They're like little aliens in the thing, you know? If they didn't have things on their ankles, you'd take the wrong kid home. And the minute they come in, like, oh, I think he's your grandmother. I think he looks like your uncle. He looks like nobody. But everyone plays the game. I'll tell you, when I had my first son, my grandfather lived to 120. He comes from Munkach. For those of you who know me, my father comes from Aleppo, Syria. My mother comes from Munkach, which makes me the walking United Nations with better resolutions. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I eat either has rice in it or margarine. That's my life. I'm always late and early at the exact same time. So my Munkach grandfather, he lived to 120, came over. He survived the Holocaust, and he went through what he went through. He never thought he'd live to see anything. He had a kid, and then a grandson, and then a great-grandson. Okay, this is like, he comes to the hospital. It's the best. He comes with me to the nursery, and he goes, you see that boy? You see that boy? I said, yes, Zaidi. He goes, you see that nose? That's a Munkach nose. Hey, I know Munkach, and I know noses. That's a Munkach nose. So The nurse bangs, bang, bang, bang. I said, yeah. She goes, who are you looking for? I said, Harary. She goes, Harari's on the other side. We love this game because we know that at the core, they're us. We don't just say they're our forefathers. Avraham and Sarah weren't our foreparents because it's cute. They're us. What I'd like to do for a minute is understand their life. For today, sit back. I want to tell you the story of Avraham, like as if you're watching it lahavdil, like in a movie. Because I want together to see who he was. Because I want together to see who we are. Because if he's our father and he represents a sphera that's inside me, unless I see it, I can't live it. And there's something in my life right now that unless I understand him, it's affecting me. So let's begin. 18th century BCE, the Bronze Era, in an area called Mesopotamia or Kasdim. Let me tell you what's happening. I gotta walk around a little bit. Let me tell you what's happening. At the time, there is idol worship throughout everywhere. Now we think idol worship is like a bunch of weirdos running around like some statue going like whatever. It's not true. Let's not for 1 second think that half of all of what Hashem is protecting us from is something that was like, oh yeah, old people back then, not us, were so sophisticated. Idol worship was one of the greatest forms of worship ever. It started by a man named Enosh, who was the greatest son of Adam Harishon. Adam taught Enosh all the secrets of creation. People were able to literally change the sun to bring down rain. They were able to say words and change things. It worked. You walked in, you said the right thing, and then they had power. The grain went up, the sun shone. They were able to manipulate the universe. The reason why it was wrong, it wasn't because it was false. It wasn't avodah shekin. It was that it missed the point. It was avodah zarah. That everyone stopped at the sun, at the moon, at the stars. They forgot that on top of all of that was one God. Now picture for a minute being there. They would go to the corner and they would pray to an idol and it would rain. You'd be like, whoa! But there was one man that was smarter than the rest. He not only served idols, he manufactured idols. Talk about being the father of a Jew, and that's how we live. This is like the first Amazon on this record. He was making a killing. And there was Terach. And he said, well, what a business this is. You know me. God's a good business, let me tell you. And he's manufacturing, he's shipping it all over the place, any rain, sun, moon. He has a kid named Avraham. And this is the point of the story where you should say, listen, you know, this is a great business. You inherit business, it's wonderful. Avraham's an inquisitive guy. He's looking around, wait a second. They all have power, but there should be one unified, wait a second. And he thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks, and he realizes that on top of all of these powers, there's one power. We're not going high enough. Let's go to the top. This is the point of the story, by the way, where I'm just, listen, I know it's great, but I got a great job, and I'm gonna, I'll give money to the Yeshiva, they'll honor me at the dinner, but Parnasa is Parnasa. We don't mess with Parnasa. If you mess with the shit up, it's gonna be a problem, let's just stick with the Parnasa. No. He's not talking about it. He doesn't talk about organizations. This is a non-profit. This isn't a tea party. He's not talking about this person, that person. He's got a class, 2 classes, 3 classes. All of a sudden, Avraham is getting these great. People go, yeah, actually makes a lot of sense. Why would I worship this? I can worship that. And it starts growing, and it starts growing, and it starts growing. And at the time, there was a man named Nimrod. You may have heard of him. Nimrod was the king at the time. Now, the king of the land hates a concept of the king of the world. And Nimrod calls in Avraham, now be there with me. This isn't just some story. It's happening. Hundreds of pictures, hundreds of people lined up. The king and a huge throne. And in front of him is a fire pit. And he calls up Avraham. He goes, Mr. Avraham, how are you? You think you believe in this God? Wow. Awesome. Do you consider he's in charge of the world? Really? Well, if he's in charge of the world, then he should have no problem saving you from fire. This is, by the way, in my mind, like when you movie, like when the music starts to like pump. And you picture, I'm sitting there, fire, cheering people on both sides. And I'm sure my malachim were like eating popcorn, like, come on, come on, come on. At least in my mind, that's what's going on. And at that moment, Avraham crosses a threshold. Because let me tell you something. You can believe in something and give a check. You can go to a parlor meeting all day. You can join the nonprofit, you can come to shul. Let me tell you when you believe in something. When you're about to have fire in front of you. And at that moment, Avraham has a choice to make. Do I? Don't I? How much? And Avraham, being Avraham, says, are you kidding me? For him, where do I jump? And he jumps into the fire, and at that moment, something is born in the world. There's some Eva that comes out. There's a trait that God created in creation, but no one until that moment ever brought it out, except for this man. And from the beginning of time until that moment, there was a trait that was inherent in the creation. And one man started to bring out a trait called chesed. We think chesed means kindness. It doesn't. Kindness is a subset of chesed. You know what chesed means? Sacrifice. It means to give and give and give and kill and die for what you believe in. It means, it's not like I believe in it, maybe I'll go if I'm in the mood. It means I will do anything for what I believe. Chesed shel emes. Chesed shel emes is when you do things that no one says even thank you for because the person died or whatever it is. True chesed is the ability to go all in what you believe in. Sacrifice. And at that moment, I can almost picture they're all like, all right. Let's rock and roll. Let's build a nation. And this is the point where God should go, okay, it's over. You win. Pop, pop, pop. Come home. Here's the balloons. It's over. If he was American, he'd be like, hooray, congratulations, you graduated. It's a teddy bear. Where's your grandparents? Let's take pictures. There's more kiddishes for you. Don't work anymore. You're perfect. Not God. God, like the ultimate parent, says, if you're a parent and you have a little kid and you see that kid's good at piano, you know what you're not supposed to do? Stop having him play the piano. If you see a little bit of talent in piano, you work him and try him and build him. You don't put him in 4th grade piano, you put him in 5th grade piano. If you've got a good kid who's in math, you don't keep him and be the best kid at the kindergarten level. You push him and push him. Because if you see talent, at that moment, God saw something. And he said, let's rock and roll. And he turns to Avraham and goes, let's go, let's do this. Hey, Avraham, how are you doing? He's good. He goes, great job last night. He's like, yeah, thanks. Listen, it's a little warm, but it's okay. It's like, no problem, it's all right. He goes, listen, why don't you go somewhere? He's like, where? He's like, just go. Imagine when we go to Israel for like a week. Like I have planned for 3 weeks in advance. I gotta make sure I know I'm going, the itinerary, I bring 3 phones and 3 pebbles, just to God forbid, should I go to Israel still. And everything with that. I'm like, just go. If I were there, I would say, just let's go. Where are you going? Florida. We're just gonna go. We're like, what do you mean? Like, what are we gonna eat? Like, we gotta eat. We're Jews. Where are you gonna stop for the thank you, Rabbi. Let's go take LIE all the way down here. Pick up on 95 New Jersey. We'll meet in Florida. God turns to Avraham and goes, go. He goes, where? So you think you're a tough guy by yourself? Let's see how tough you are when you take your family. And everyone that you've ever spoken to, because you took everyone with you. Go. Do you believe in me now? Are you going to trust me to go somewhere? And Avraham goes, I don't know if you get this yet. I'll do anything for you. I'm chesed. I'll sacrifice whatever it is. And he picks up, can you imagine? He picks up his wife and his family and goes, where are we going, honey? I don't know. We'll just go. At that moment in life, a trait was created. And that trait's inside every single one of us. It's in our DNA. It's called sacrifice. You see, most of us want to be successful in what we do. We want to make money. We want to have a good family. We want to have great children. We want to be connected to God. We show up in shul, and it's Yom Kippur, and it's so easy. And we look over there at one person who on Yom Kippur is clearly talking to a creator, and we go, I wish that were me. We want to be able to have the marriage. My great uncle died this weekend. He died, no joke. His wife and him died within 1 day apart. They had to feel they were connected in soul to the point where they died together. It's unheard of. Nacho, sure, nacho. They sat together too. The rabbi said, let me see the mom. Everyone talked about their marriage. I want that marriage. Everyone was going, I want the marriage where everyone says, I'm the best husband, I'm the best wife. I want to accomplish. I want to live my life and feel great. But you know what? I like it. I don't want it. Jump into a fire pit for it? Nah, I don't think so. If you can come on Tuesday in the afternoon, I'm like a little busy, you know what I'm saying? I ordered, I don't know, Zappos delivers overnight. I don't know what's taking so long. I said I wanted it, like what's happening here? Inside us, there's a trait that says, excuse me, I'm sorry. You want it? Or you'd like it? Those hold how many people in our lives right now, how many right now, as I'm talking, you can think of right now, that you know one phone call can change your whole relationship. Right now, as I'm saying, think about it. Mom, dad, brother, person you identify with, sister-in-laws, there are families right now that kids sit on the pace outside because their in-laws and people are mad at each other for what? Nothing. Life is too short. Can't you call me? You can't call me. You can't call me. I'm just something. They don't have phones. But you're miserable, but I'm right. But you're miserable, I'm right. I'm not walking at the fire. You pick up that phone and now you feel it's like you're on fire. You know what I'm talking about? You're like, okay. Oh. It's walking in a fire pit. I'm not walking in a fire pit. Thank you very much. We love a good marriage. Maybe my wife will realize how special she is that she has me. It'd be great. Don't know what's happening here. We're married already for 5 minutes. Like she should be like blown away by me. What is happening here? There's a problem. Let me make sure I tell my mom or our therapist. What? Suck it up? No. I'll pray when I'm in the mood to pray. It's been like 10 minutes and like nothing's happening in the service. Like, can't they put like a screen up there or something? Like, I don't understand what's going on. What? Just sit and not turn up my phone and look up 40 minutes? Nah, I don't do that. And inside every single one of us is that trait that's built in us. It's in us. It's how we breathe. It's how we eat. It's the DNA that we live in. It comes from our Father. We look like Him. We talk like Him. We act like Him. We have a piece of Him inside us. Every year we sit in the sukkah and God says, Avraham Avinu is part of you. You're so much bigger than this. You're so much stronger than this. It's a few hours, for real. There's someone in your life that you're having calls because you're scared. Do you know who your Father is? He walked into fire. He walked into fire. He left his whole family because he believed in me. He didn't just like to be connected to me. He wanted chesed. He gave and he gave and he gave. You know, the Ramak says that when you say Mikel Kamocha, which is one of the Yudim Midos, you know what you're supposed to be thinking about? You're supposed to be thinking about the following. Think about this. That Hashem gives us energy. And He gives us energy even when we sin. That means somebody is using Hashem's energy to do a sin. So as he's sinning, who is giving him the energy to sin? Hashem. You're literally spinning in Hashem's face as you sin, and what does He do? He gives you more energy. And we're supposed to think, Mikel Kamocha, when someone disparages you, you're supposed to say like Hashem, I'll keep on dancing. You know who I am? You know my Father is? He's Avraham Avinu. That's it. A little bit good. You have no idea how strong I am. You have no idea. And this, by the way, explains one of the greatest questions I think in Judaism. How in the world did God ask Avraham to sacrifice his kid? You know one of those things? Picture the story for a second. Avraham, by the way, is now the end of his life. He's doing great. He's doing great. He got the right life. He paid Google when it first started. Like, can you get better than God? He's rich. He has his son. God gave him a son at an old age. He's called an idiot. Everybody respects him. Everybody loves him. He's sitting there with his wife and his tent, speaking to God. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. He's living in Israel. He has a park overlooking the Kotel. His life is great. And one day God says to him, Avraham, how you doing? How are you? He goes, hi, how you doing? It's great. He goes, I have something I want to eat from you. He's like, yeah, where you go? Cappuccino, like, what can I get you? So he says, the son? Oh, yes, yeah. He's like, I want you to sacrifice him. He's like, I'm sorry, I was for Kibriya. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I was like, yeah, I'll take the son. You have to realize what this means. We look at the story, you have to realize what this means. At the time, it was idol worship. What was it called? Anybody knows? The Molech. What did the Molech do? Sacrifice to the kids. What did Avraham say? What was Avraham's whole life? His whole life was, don't sacrifice kids. God doesn't want you to sacrifice the kids. Avraham woke up every morning and said, don't sacrifice kids. Avraham went to bed every night and goes, Father, don't sacrifice. When he won Time Man of the Year, the speech he gave at the Waldorf was, don't sacrifice kids. When in the op-ed in the New York Times, he wrote how you should, his whole career, his whole reputation, everything about Avraham was, don't sacrifice kids. God says, let me ask you a favor. What? Sacrifice your kid. This isn't just a son. This is just his whole life. This isn't just everything. You know what this is? He comes down on that mountain, and he's going to see a cameraman that says, snap, hypocrite of the year. This is everything. And God goes, would you give it all back to me? And Avraham goes, oh, I'm sorry. You don't get it yet. It's all you. It's just been you. My life, God, has been you. I'll do anything for you. You want me to sacrifice my child? He's yours. My career, my reputation, my marriage. When he comes back to the tent and tells his wife that the one son she gave birth to at the end of her life, he sacrificed. For you, everything. Chesed is when you look at something in your life and go, oh, you have no idea. I'm not even halfway done with you. A little challenging. I've got a challenge. I'm sorry, challenge. You forgot my father is Avraham. A tough phone call, a hard conversation, a new idea, sitting in a chair and looking up to God and understanding a bunch of Hebrew words. No. Who we are as a people, is this. And when we lose this, we become weak. When we sit and we can't handle, we're weak. When we look over to someone who looks a little different to us and we go, this is our whole thing, this is cool. I mean, this is the spiritual concepts that we have. We look at someone, everyone has this. Look at someone, you think that God literally rests right on top of us. You look at someone that looks a little more religious and you're like, can you relax a little bit? Like, okay, relax. Look at someone a little less religious, you're like, can you step up a little bit? Like, you're really Jewish. God literally rests over my head. Even when I change my mind in Judaism, somehow God follows me along the way. I'm feeling less religious, God's like crazy. Look for more religious, God's like crazy. No matter what we do, you know where God is? Right on top of my head. Really? Because it's hard for me to look at another Jew and say, you know what? You're different, you're doing more, and I can accept you. You can't comfortable with me. It's hard. It's hard to look at different types of people and accept everybody. That's hard. It's hard to see past the surface. It's hard to get through life, and if God doesn't give us a sweet, look up and say, I believe in you anyways. It's hard. But greatness is hard. And Avraham starts off, and it's amazing because God could have done this. God could have opened up the Bible with Avraham living on Easy Street. Avraham could have said, I found you, I gave up the business, I'm now living in Yeshiva, God is in Yeshiva. Checks on me, enjoy yourself, make sure you go to 2 o'clock after lunch, make sure you learn at night, it's on the house. And the whole story of Avraham could have been smooth. No. God's like, you want to be great? We're going to have to work. This is a concept. I've said this sometimes before, some of you have heard this before. This is a concept in life. I had the opportunity to go with a man in London. He's a big rabbi in London, Rabbi Harary. I talk about this a lot. This is one of my life-changing moments. And he was one of the foremost experts on something called Harary. Harary is one of the greatest philosophers in Jewish history. And I sat with him once in a car, and I said to him, according to the Harary, what is the one trait of success? And usually I'm expecting, like, well, traits, it's a little thing, you want for 20 years, you can figure it out, but he goes, one word. I'm like, one word. Like, I have patterns in my head, we talk about one word. He goes, yeah. What's the word? So take a second. Sorry if you heard this already, but this is it. My wife and I have a disagreement as to what our favorite age is. I want to say it's not like with that, there's disagreement. My wife's favorite age is 0 to 2. Those are the best ages. They don't talk back. They're happy as a clam. You don't talk about sitting a little bouncy thing, and they're good to go. You buy them 100 toys, they see a spoon, they're like, oh, a spoon. 2 spoons, and they're good for the next 2 years. Life is simple. 0 to 2, life is simple. They don't talk, they snuggle on demand. You don't talk about, they're happy just to see your presence. It's perfect. To me, total wash. 0 to 2, waste of time. Just keep them healthy enough to be able to wrestle with them. Otherwise, forget it. To me, my greatest ages are 2 to 5. Why? Because that's when everything happens. So when I get 2, you can't do anything. By the time you get to 5, you learn how to eat and walk and talk and go to the bathroom. And every life skill you need, you get from 2 to 5. After that, like, like math and science and get married or whatever it is. But everything you need in life, you got by 5. There's just a little more information later on, but like you hit everything that you need to survive. You got how is it? You hit 2, and then from 2 to 5, you go boom. You explode. You grow in ways you never thought of. You ever watch a 3-year-old act? You watch a 3-year-old? You'll never ever see a 3-year-old sit. You never see a bunch of 3-year-olds sit by like a playground and be like, man, I'm so bored. We did like this like 3 times. Anyone have like a Wii I can play with? Ever. You know what I'm talking about? 3-year-olds have 2 modes, stand or run. There's no walk slowly and be annoyed because mommy asks you for something. That happens when you become a teenager. You know what I'm saying? 3-year-olds wake up in the morning, when they wake up, you watch 3-year-olds wake up in the morning, 5 a.m. I'm up. Mommy, I'm up. She's like, oh, love God, please, 2 more minutes, 2 more minutes. And the 3-year-old looks at you and doesn't understand in his small mind, why would you choose to be unconscious if you could be conscious? You really think so? And for us, sleep, it's like our best friend. You ever when you wake up in the morning, you feel like you're breaking up with a pillow? You ever have this? You look at your pillow and you're like, bye, pillow. I miss you so much. No, okay, fine, it's fine. 5 more minutes. I just can't leave you. Okay, fine. Snooze. I'm gonna stop. I'll miss work. I'll go in tomorrow, whatever it is. And the next week you make deals. You know what? I don't have to leave you, but this weekend it's me and you all day. All day, no, all day. I'm not making no excuses. It's just me and you. A 3-year-old, his enemy is sleep. It's 10 o'clock. He's like, I'm not tired. You know why? Because he has something. And you know it. Because every 3-year-old a cookie, what do? I have it on the handy now. And you go, 1 per customer. And he goes, I'll sit here for the rest of my life until you give me that cookie. Right. You watch 3-year-old and mom go shopping? Best ever. Supermarket, mom goes and she has no idea what's in for. She doesn't know the English what's happening. But she walks in, he's like, da. She's looking for flowers. She makes the most when she's on the cookie aisle. You've seen it before? He's the best. She's on the cookie aisle and she shows she's busted. So she goes really slowly. And he's like, Daddy. Oh my God. As if they found the treasure together. Mommy, cookies. And she's like, son, we gave you a snack in the car. If you're good, I'll give you a snack when you get back into the car. And he's like, really? You want to do this in public? Okay, you're on. He turns his way like 18 seconds, I own her. 3-year-olds? You don't mess with a 3-year-old. You got 50 people over your house, case out Seder, that 3-year-old's in bed, move the whole place is going to kill each other. That kid falls into the couch, all of a sudden, like, oh, I don't know what happened, but let's start again. Sorry, I yelled at everybody. You know why? Because 3-year-olds live with something. It's a word that comes from the highest sphere called Keser. It's a word that is the essential trait of what it means to be a Jew. Then when they get older, we tell them they can. And a little, they want it there. Then we have, thank God, they have parents and teachers telling them, sit down, settle down, relax, you can't. Then they sometimes to believe it and they're us. But when they're little and they're unadulterated by the rest of society, they live with a trait. You know what it's called? One word. This is the Jewish trait. Ratzon. Desire. You know what God says? Be a God. Start with David HaMelech. Don't be God. David HaMelech. Pretty good guy. Connected to the man. The king himself. He says, Posech Esedecha. Hashem opens his hand. Umasbiya. And he fulfills who? L'chol chai. What's the trait? What's the condition? Ratzon. God goes, give me a little ratzon. God goes, look at him. Can I get a Jew with a drop of passion for God's sakes? Can I get one Jew that can walk through fire for me? Can I get one? Just give me one Jew. One that can walk through a fire pit. That can pick up that phone. That can sit in front of me. That cannot run away. That can go to a shul. We have Jews and we're all guilty of this. We will daven. We will pray 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And still not know what we're saying. We're living in 2013. We can Google anything at any point. We will still go to shul year after year and still say words that we don't know what they even mean. I'm like, I don't know why am I getting this? Why am I not talking about this? It's so long. It's so boring. And God's like, really? Like, you see a little English world on top? I actually built art school for you. 30 years and you're still just mumbling words? Do you want it? What would you like? I gave you a husband and a wife. I gave you a Jewish community. Our grandparents would have killed for a taste of what we have right now. A taste. A taste. We go to the supermarket now and look upset. There's not enough, everything. Like we feel like, have you ever had this feel like a gas station? And there's a candy that you can't eat. Ever do this? Like you pick something up and you're like, there's no way you want this. I understand something. What's the order you're doing? It's pork chops. Why can't they make this kosher already?
inside us, in each and every one of us. I don't care how much we get in life. I don't care how many tell us how great we are. Each and every one of us knows. If there's an area in life that we haven't given 1,000,000%, we're never going to feel fully accomplished. Because inside us is Avraham saying, more. Inside us is Avraham saying, oh, you know, you're my kid, for God's sake. You look like me. Really? Are you overwhelmed by that challenge? Oh, no. No. What's up? You fight. You're a Jew. You fight. Your life has to be awesome. Everything in your life has to be awesome. There's nothing that knocks you down. And so inside each and every one of us is the power of chesed. The power of changing the world. The power of being someone we never thought possible. The power of staring down challenge and laughing. The power of walking through fire. The power of going to nowhere. The power of taking our most prized possessions and sacrificing it for the honor of God. But there's another power inside us, which is the opposite power. Because Avraham starts off his life all over the place. Avraham starts off his life as the hero that walks in fire, and that leads, and that goes, and that runs. There's another hero who starts his life off very differently. Yitzchak. What's amazing about Yitzchak is that we are introduced to him in almost the opposite way. You ever notice this? And to me, from picturing the movie of Yitzchak, it starts off as like the camera starts to speed over the desert and goes further, and from the distance you can see like a hilltop. And from the hilltop you see like a man on the hilltop. Then as the camera gets closer and closer, you see like a little altar. And as you get over it, what you do is you see a man in his 40s. He was 40. He wasn't a kid. When you hear the story of the binding of Isaac, okay, that's Yitzchak, you think he's a little baby. He's not. He's an adult. And in front of him is a man. And the first thing that we hear him say is, the Medrash tells us, he turns to his father, and for his father, by taking up the knife, he says the following words: Daddy, bind me tighter. Make it tighter. I don't want to move. I want to be bound. Because a part of us is that we want to change the world. But there's a part of us, each and every one of us, that hates being bound. You know what I'm talking about? We hate it. I'd rather drive 10 miles out of the way than sit in traffic. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you pull around going to traffic, you're like, oh my, is there a God in the world? That's why we can't do class, most of us. That's why we can do through school, because you're like, how many minutes? That's why you don't get real command petitions. I do this in your paper. Rather than show you like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, there's 300 pages left, but if you divide it by half, because half is English, and then you take out the gray parts, and then after the bad 3 times, they're out of the gray. It's only 15 minutes, it's only 15 minutes, it's only 15 minutes, right? Like, you go like that. Okay, there's 8 minutes left, if you divide it by 6 and by 4, and then the and I think it goes early this year. You know, the truth is, it's cool, it's cool. You know why? Because if there's like an end date, we can't handle it. We hate being bound. We have to stretch. And when you're not bound, you know where you live? Everywhere. And never here. I'll tell you a story. Sorry if I said this before. I remember one time I had a project that I did years ago. And I went with a certain individual who was a very, very like, Hashem, it was great. He said to me, Charlie, I'd love to include you in the project, but I don't think you fully believe in Hashem yet. I'm like, what? I'm like, totally not Hashem. He's like, yeah, you think you are, but not really. I said, there's a rabbi that I want to meet. He's going to teach you how to believe in Hashem. I'm like, okay, where does he live? He's like, Israel. I'm like, sure. I'll hop on my jet when I'm ready. And go visit the rabbi. He's like, man, tell me yours will make you a point. I was going to teach you how to believe in God. I'm like, okay. I go to see the rabbi. And I go into his office. And like, there's an anteroom in the room. We finally get to the rabbi's office. Very, very holy looking rabbi. It's far on the shelves. I walk in. And I said, Rabbi, someone goes, oh, so-and-so, every person. I said, I'm here because he's going to teach you. He said, you can teach me how to believe in Hashem in a real way. Sure. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm expecting, on Tuesday afternoon, look at the sunset, learn Torah, all into that stuff. Say this pasuk 6 times backwards in the midful. Like, I'm in. He doesn't do that. He goes, you have kids? I said, yeah. He goes, how many? At the time I had 4. He goes, okay. He goes, go home and watch your kids eat dinner, and then you learn how to believe in Hashem. I said, I'm sorry, Rabbi. I don't know how to eat dinner in Israel. In America, it's closer to evolution than God. So I don't know if it's the right example you want to be using. Let's go with option B. Incest Tuesday afternoon. And you know the Rabbi sometimes you speak to Rabbi and he's like, I'm going to say it again. and you want a chance to get it, or else you're leaving. Go home, watch your kids eat dinner, and you leave. I'm like, okay, sure, got it. Walk back out of my car and said, honey, this week, I'm coming home for dinner. She's like, you're going to help with dinner? I'm like, not really help. More like a server or children or dinner. She's like, I'm making a stranger. I'm like, no, I can't. So, this is the first time, right out of law school, I've been working late my whole life. This is the first time I ever came home for dinner time. Now, this is an experience that everyone has to experience. I come home, and some of you may have experienced this as well. I've got 4 kids at the time, and they're killing each other. And my wife says one word, dinner time, and like something happens. Like there's like this like unique like, okay guys, we hate each other, but let's do it together to get mommy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a revolt for me. I wanted to like tell my wife, like, be careful. And they walk in like they're on one team, like have this like weird young, and they sit down, she's like, and then the minute she speaks, she turns into like a hostage negotiator. You know what I'm saying? She's like, dude, like, fine, and the goal is to get mommy to say the least healthy thing possible is dinner. Can we have ice cream? No. She's like, no. Can we have apples? No. And she's like, 2 chickens, 4 chickens, 5 chickens. I'm like sweating in the corner. She's like, 4, 2, 1. Okay. Last time she's like, okay. 3 chickens, a little bit of greens, and then dessert. They're like, deal. I'm like, wow. I'm like, is that, she's organized to appreciate my wife better? Like, I don't know what got into it, but that's awesome. And then next day, same thing. Next day, call her up. I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but I don't see God anywhere to save my wife. So he goes, go back one more time. I go back again, nothing. I call him, he goes, let me ask you a question. When those kids sat down at dinner, what were they thinking about? I said, because they're thinking about breakfast. And I'm like, they're thinking like, hey, the economy's rough. Why don't we get 5 pieces of chicken? We'll save 2 in case Dad doesn't make it work. No. What are they thinking about? One thing, dinner. They know that there's a woman there that will do anything for them, and they're going to push that woman to the brink. But at the end of the day, you get what you get, you don't get upset. Even if it's chicken, you know it's meant because it's good for you. And when you sit at dinner, all you think about is dinner. You know what happens when you think about dinner? When dessert comes, you watch a 3-year-old dessert. 10% in the mouth, 80% of the neighborhood, you know what I'm talking about? And 10% just for mom. Oh, do you enjoy it? Because you want to know what it means to live with God. It means that each and every one of us pushing for what we want in life. Oh, we push. And we push. And we push. I want ice cream. I want sugar. I want it sweet. Are you crazy? I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I can't have chicken. I can't. At the end of the day, we know at our core, that I'm not worried about what's going to be tomorrow. I'm worried about what I have right now. He loves me. You know, I might not like it. I'm going to eat whatever he gives me. And you know what I'm going to think about? Dinner. Tomorrow is tomorrow. 2 years is 2 years. 5 years, I know it's going to happen in 5 years. And now we're like, all of us have like such moments, we're like worried, like, you know, what's going to be, what's going to be. We know what's going to be tomorrow. Right now. When God gives me something to eat right now that I don't like, you know what happens? In my core, I know it's good for me. And when that's sweet, when the dessert comes, oh, do I enjoy it. You want to know what Yitzchak's trait is? Being bound. In Hebrew, it's called gevura. Gevura is the ability to restrain. Gevura is strength. It restrains. Yitzchak's life is a life of restraint. It's a life of balance. All the other uncles were shepherds. What was Yitzchak? He redug wells. What's a well? A well is when you dig and it's dark 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 and it's dark. You're like, forget it, I'm giving up. I'm doing this for 10 years. Nothing's happening. And you keep on digging and it's still dark. And you keep on digging and it's still dark and it's dark and it's dark. And all of a sudden, as you're about to give up, you keep on going to that one spot. You're not a shepherd running with sheep all day. You're about one spot. And all you do every day is go back to that one spot. You don't go anywhere. And you're about to give up because all you see is black. And you dig, and you dig, and you dig, and you dig, and you dig. His heart was blind. He didn't go anywhere. He was the only up to heavenly earth to throw. God says, stay bound in your environment. Stay bound in your tent. Stay bound in your country. His whole life was hold on. Restraint. He's a heart of spiritual walking into his tent. He's not looking this way, ever. Not maybe I'll look. I'll never. Straight. Here. Bound. Because each and every one of us is Spend most of our lives. What's going to be, what's going to be, what's going to be, what's going to be, what's for. I can't believe, I can't believe, I can't believe. You ever get tough lines in your head? Like as if like it was 10 years ago, like, as if like you're replaying the whole scenario, like as if it's ever going to happen again, boom, you hit a line and you win. What's going to be, I can't believe she did, I can't believe he did, I'm holding grudges, holding grudges, holding grudges, holding grudges. Why? I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm scared. You know where we never live? Right here. Right here. You talk to your loved one, you don't even hear them anymore. They're talking. You ever did this? You talk to someone? I was at a party once, years ago, it was a real estate thing. And I saw a woman who I went to high school with. And I went, hi, how are you? Good. Like, what's going on? And I saw her mind, she's at the lunch ready. She's like, good, I'm doing some fun. I'm like, things going. She's like, how's everything going? She's like, I'm like, it's okay, bro, I like the other day. She's like, oh, wonderful. I'm like, yeah, it's not like a chicken bone. She's like, oh, I like chicken. I'm like, can I borrow one of yours? She's like, yeah, get plenty. Lunch. We walk through life and we're out to lunch. We don't taste anymore. We don't sit on the couch and enjoy a couch anymore. A couch, stop it. We don't sit and talk to someone, our friend. We don't go to sit in a shiur anymore, just enjoy. We don't come to pray anymore and just sit for 2 minutes and think how lucky we are that the creator of humanity cares what I have to say. Because we're never here anymore. And life just flies. And we know it's flying. And we know we get to the next stage and be like, why didn't I enjoy the previous stage? But even so, it's like next stage, next stage, next stage, next stage, next stage. It's always the next stage, like when you're a little kid, right? Like, I can't wait to get like middle school, it's gonna be great. The middle school, like coming to the high school, that's gonna be great. The high school, like, can't wait to get to college, yeah. Get to college, I can't wait to the real world. The real world, like real world, this is the real world. Can't wait to get back into college, it's gonna be great. Right? You're like, I'm single, actually, when you get married, it's gonna be great. You marry, like, okay, when you're married, like, when we have kids, it's gonna be great. Little kids, okay, when they grow up and they're like teenagers, that's gonna be great. When they become teenagers, and it's not great for anybody. And you're like, okay, well, we're post-teenagers, you have to marry our kids, like your mom's whose whole job is just marrying your daughters all day, marrying your daughters, weddings, every wedding I go to, marry my daughter. My kids get married, they'll be good, they get married, okay, so that's support them. You know, when you retire and you look around, you know, remember when we were younger, that's when it was great. When God goes, relax. Now. You know what's great? Now. You know when you have to enjoy? David Melch says, Zeh hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismecha bo. You know when you enjoy? Now. Tonight. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Not when everything works itself out. I am alive. Now. Now listen, when we take the power of Avraham, the power of chesed, the power of sacrifice, the power that's inside us of walking through walls, of laughing at fire, of sacrificing, and we combine it with the power of being able to stay focused on where we are, we have something called Tiferes, beauty, perfection. MS. This is nuclear. When we're able to say, Mom, Dad, brother, sister, God, what's in front of me right now, I'm going to put every bit of Avraham and string it into this moment. You take a laser beam, boom. The whole that changes. Yaakov Avinu is the power. That's what's inside us. That's who we are, not who we can be. This isn't something that we could be. We're it already. It's in us. These are spheres, like our arms. Whether or not you used your arms in life, it doesn't matter. It's always there. Whether or not you use the spheres or not, it doesn't matter. It's there. Avraham comes to us and begs us. You're bigger. You're stronger. You're much more great. Hold that in. Be that person. Don't allow this year to be last year. Don't die in the same. Don't talk. Don't allow your life to just be worrying and making sure that you stay as comfortable as you possibly can. Pain is the pathway to greatness. And this comes to say, while you're doing that, don't be all over the place. Focus on what you have now. Put all his colors. Put all him. Take all of Avraham. Because he can go around the whole world, Avraham, it's upset. But take all that and focus it right here. Put all of it in this conversation. Put all of it on Monday morning. Put all of it on just one thing, on one prayer, on one conversation. Put all of it on one relationship. If you put all that power on it, buy was called Tiferes. You know what beauty is? Beauty is not blue. You see it's beautiful. Not all blue. You know what it is? Blue, and there's a yellow sun, and red. It's the combination of both. And you know who we are? Bnei Yaakov. That's who we are. We are the combination of that. We are the fusion of those powers. That's how we walk around. That's our parents. And the question becomes whether or not we're willing to live it. None of us. The truth is we all want more, and we know in our core that more isn't stuff. It's not status. It's not getting the things we're supposed to get, even if they're religious things, or they're social things, or they're whatever they are. We know at our core that money, or whatever we look for in life, that's not what's going to give us the life that says awesome. The life that says awesome is going to be when we wake up in the morning, we live like this, with our spheres, with our parents, when we are able to look at life and give it all. When we go to bed exhausted, when we push ourselves to be people we never thought possible, when we look at challenge and we're not worried about our comfort, when we realize that the world is taking us in a million places and we stay focused, when we take the traits of Avraham and Yitzchak and we bring them into the spheres shine within ourselves, whether or not the world gives us what we want, whether or not we find our woman or find our man or find our job, whether or not we get it, whether or not the world responds. What gets us going in the morning is knowing that I acted like my parents. My spheres are full. And the rest is God's business. My bracha to all of us is that as we leave the holiday of all, we have more time to do the rest of the shepherds, but we're going to do. As we leave the holiday, where these shepherds, these leaders came to visit us, they didn't come for like an extra piece of kugel if you're Ashkenaz or kid if you're Sephardic. We had, it's okay, they're all good. As you leave, they came to tell you, by the way, you're like me. And as we enter into the world tomorrow, which is the first work day since we've been on for like a month. Don't you love September, by the way? I love it. Don't you the first thing you explain to your boss that we've got the back end of Sukkot? You ever do this? And then, oh, we're taking off for Russia. That's okay. And then Yom Kippur, sure. Then there's tabernacles. Okay, fine. Is it one day? It's two. Okay, fine. And there's two more in the back. You know what? I'm just taking September off. Us Jews work 11 months. Not really 11. This summer we like to go up to. Let's just make it 9 months. No, we're from April to 8. But as we leave this period of time, and as we walk together out that door and into our lives, my blessing to us that we walk away with them inside us. We walk away with Avraham whispering in our ear when the challenge hits. With Yitzchak whispering in our ear when we're about to lose focus and be everywhere but nowhere. As we let life fly by us, Yitzchak says, hold it. As we're about to crumble under the smallest bit of uncomfortability, Avraham says, walk in fire. You got it in now. And as we walk through life with the two of them, the right and the left, we become the true Yaakov. We become the true Bnei Yisrael. We become the people, the Tova, we become the people that we are meant to be. And if we do this, in my opinion, well, I'm a nobody, we grow, we rise, we shine, we show others to shine, and hopefully maybe we'll be zochet with that have Hashem look down and go, we know it's time. Let us keep on walking to Yerushalayim, our coach, where we get to see our Mizrach again, who will be so proud of us. May it come soon in our days.